Hey guys, welcome back to RHR Jen. I'm so glad you're here. I'm a very happy goose today. I had the most lovely sit down with Taz. She was so much fun. We really went through this third episode of this podcast and just had an interesting conversation about it. So I can't wait for you to see that. She did have a little bit of internet issues on her side, so you'll notice a little bit of glitchiness at the beginning, but it does straighten out luckily. So it's all good. But yeah, I'm just so excited for you to see this. Do make sure you're subscribed to Taz. She is killing it right now. She keeps going on Dan Wooten. She's doing such an amazing job. She's past 200,000 subs. I'm trying that myself. I'm hoping for the same. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to me and subscribe to Taz. Thank you guys so much for being here, for supporting this show. Your support just means everything to me. It truly does. Leave me your comments on this. Don't listen to the episode. You don't want to do it to yourself. It's so bad. This episode of the podcast is so bad. But if you want to stay tuned to the end, I'll kind of recap the episode a little bit more because we kind of get sidetracked talking about just questions and things about the episode. There are just a few more points I want to hit. So without further ado, let's get into my sit down with Taz. I'm so glad you're here. Can you see this happy face? I'm very happy today because I'm joined by Taz. How are you, Taz?
I'm fine, thank you. I finally made it to see your beautiful face.
And I get to see your beautiful face. Yes. Thank you so much for
We got
being
the
here.
timing right.
Yes.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm so glad you could come on. So I wish it was under something much more fun to talk about than this, but we talked about the third episode of that podcast. My goodness. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I think I'm better than, say, you, because you've watched the first two. I kind of skipped out on it. I thought that, I could probably sit this out, but yeah, I mean, it was diabolical. I honestly think it's just boring. It's not so much as who am I kidding? It is pretty bad. It's bad for a variety of reasons. I just it was honestly exhausting just trying to get through the full episode, in all honesty. But you tell me what you think.
Absolutely, I will. As we dive in, guys, I know you know who Taz is, but in case you don't know, I do have her channel pulled here. It is According to Taz. Make sure you check her out. Make sure you subscribe. She passed 200,000. You're at 205,000 now. Incredible.
Yeah, it's madness. I don't know where that crept up from nowhere, but yeah, over the course of like 4 or 5 years, I've been doing it now. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
Incredible
very happy for
job.
any new subscribers as well. But
yes, yeah, definitely.
It's all fun and games.
This is going up Wednesday afternoon, so you have had a new video go up probably in the meantime. So we'll check that out as well. Yeah.
I've got one coming.
Go ahead.
Sorry, there was a bit of a delay then, Jen. Yeah, no, okay. I've got a video coming out later. I'm posting it in the next hour or so. So it probably would have already been live by the time this one goes up. But yeah, I've called it What the Duck, because what the duck is going on, really.
Seriously. Well, I can't wait to see your response to that and your reaction. That'll be great. And guys, we are having a little bit of a technical stuff, so we're a little bit delayed. So that's all it is. But stick with us. We got this. So, all right. So let's get into this podcast.
It'll sort itself out.
Yeah, that's right. Episode 3 of this Nightmare Fuel podcast. You're right. You're lucky in not doing the first 2 episodes. Terrible. I think number 2 was the worst episode, I would say, but this one's still real bad. This is, I thought so. This one's pretty bad.
Yeah, I can't get my head around what she's trying to achieve. Like, who's her target audience? It's meant to be about female founders, and you think it would be based on building a business. Like she said, it's supposed to be the tips and the tricks and the things that people learn on the way. And it's like a couple of high school girls chatting. I feel like I'm eavesdropping on someone's private conversation. It just, as a listener, you can't really get drawn into it. It's a lot of word salad. And it's not really about, I mean, I did read a lot of the transcripts from the first 2 episodes. I just got away with not listening to it.
That's
But
good.
I just don't get what direction she's going in. Is this meant to be a chat show with her friends? Where's the female founder bit come into it? Where's the bit that is
Right.
supposed to rope the audience in for them to learn about being a businesswoman? And to be honest with you, she's the last person anyone should be taking business advice from, Jen. I mean, seriously, how many things can that woman completely mess up?
That's exactly it, and the idea that she thinks she's in a position to advise anybody is hysterical to me. Oh my gosh.
She,
Um, yeah, I mean, you run a successful business with your YouTube channel. I have a business with mine, and
yeah,
it's not for us. What is this? She's gonna tell us
yeah.
about working hard. Okay.
Yeah, and then when she tries to talk about being, that when she even says that sentence, it's like she's not applied herself to anything that she has. Think of all of the ventures that she's started since she left the royal family. I mean, she's
That's
failed at
right.
every single one of them. None of it has been a success, like the children's book. Nope. Archetypes. Nope.
That's it.
40 by
Nope.
40. Nope. I mean, it's
No.
just a continuous list.
You're absolutely right. It makes 0 sense at all. It's just it's so crazy. And then I brought a picture. This is the lady who she interviewed in this one. Her name is Katie Lee. And we all remember this moment where Meghan was overshadowing and awkward and yeah, very high school girl, like you say, in the conversation
Yeah.
style and all of it. Oh, well, and the ducks video, very high school girl. She's setting women backwards. I'm sorry. Like I can't take her seriously. No.
What what is she doing exactly? It's like even with the ducks, everything's just over the top. It's like watching a teenage girl. She fangirls over the most silliest things. She's so
Mhm.
giggly trying to listen to her. And it's like I thought you were meant to be talking about being a businesswoman. And I mean, she can't really talk about being a girl boss because she terrorizes all of her staff. I mean, she's
Exactly.
she's like the demonic boss that nobody wants ever.
That's right. And in my opinion, it seems like she seems to go after women, so look at Catherine. So yeah, no, I don't need to
No.
hear from her about any of that. Not at all.
No, it's always the underlings, isn't it? It's someone, I think Catherine, it was done for different reasons, but all of the
Yeah.
bullying complaints against her, it all seems to be younger female members of staff. Although there was one report, wasn't it, that apparently she leaves grown men crying as well, but I can only presume that's probably Harry.
That's right. You're exactly right. That's right. I just assume that dude's always in tears probably. So
Yeah, he's the one. She's gaslighting us. He's the one that's rocking on the floor, hugging his knees to his chest, crying. It's not her, it's him.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh my goodness. So going through this, I guess I'll do this however you want. Do you want to just talk through some of your low points of it? I have some questions for you. How I'm good for
Oh,
whatever.
there's too many low points. I wouldn't even know where to start, really. But why don't you hit me with some questions on it? Pop quiz.
Absolutely. So, like one of my yeah, I mean, exactly as we said, her credibility as a founder, given her background, what what would put her in a position as an authority on female entrepreneurship? I know you can't answer that. It's just a question to the
Well,
ether. Like, what?
yeah, but it's not just she doesn't even know how to interview these women about this subject because she's not a successful businesswoman. She's literally, if there is a wrong step that Meghan can take with every single venture that she started, she's done it. So
Yeah,
I think that's the thing why she's not having proper conversations with these women, because she doesn't know what to say to them. She doesn't know what questions to ask. She doesn't really know what it takes to build a business up from the ground.
you're
She just
exactly right.
throws money at lots of people and they do all of the groundwork for her. I mean, she didn't even have to interview people for her archetypes. She had underlings doing that, of which she then put in therapy, apparently.
Yeah. I know. Yes, absolutely. That's such a good point. You're right. So what does she know about any of it? And every question she asked would go back to a story of herself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That didn't come as a shock to me. I mean, she's always been like that. I mean, what was it? It was when she went to Manchester, the One Young World Summit. She mentioned herself and referenced herself 54 times in 7 minutes, Jen. I mean, that's got to be a Guinness World Record, hasn't it? I mean, how could anybody be that narcissistic? It's
I don't know.
she's like a comedy show at this point, though. I mean,
She
I
really
can't
is.
hate her because I just find her too funny.
That's right. And let me take a sidestep and even say her minions have been after you. I know that's an ongoing thing, but her hairstylist, I know, right? Yeah. Which day am I talking about? No, that awful hairstylist that was just pathetic.
The makeup artist, the crying
Yes,
makeup
that's what I meant.
artist.
Yeah, yes.
The hairstylist would probably come for me next,
That's right.
It's yeah,
The makeup artist.
that was a bit of a weird one, Daniel Martin, because I honestly thought when I saw it, it was my friend Amber that sent it to me, and I was like, no, it must be just because they set up fake profiles all the time. I mean, I've got one person that's obsessively pretending to be my husband. They're that
Oh
much
yeah,
of a
he's
loser.
come after me too. Yeah, you tell your
Yeah,
husband to back off.
yeah, it's very strange. I can assure you, Jen, it's definitely not my husband. But
I was hoping it was. He's so handsome. I was hoping he was flirting with me.
he is very handsome, isn't he?
Yes.
But yeah. But to find out, no, it was actually Dan Wootton I pinged it to, and he's like, no, it's genuine. It's actually him, which he found funny as well. And I was just like, what is going on in their world that they actually believe the crap that they come out with? I mean, compared to other people, I think I've always gone fairly lightly on Meghan. Mine is definitely more about criticizing her actions. But to see that, it was rather bizarre. But the most ridiculous thing was all of that got blown up because I said I wasn't going to be talking about her. It's not like I just insulted her or said something nasty about her, unless you take the fact I said that I'm not interested in her. I think I swore and said her raspberry spread. Yeah. But that's the tweet that they took, and it blew up, and I ended up in the Daily Mail.
That's fantastic.
It's just so bizarre. But I think all of her fan base and her friends are a little bit bizarre.
Yes.
Yeah.
He calls you a dark soul, and as I said before, I stand by it. You're a ray of sunshine. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, my dark soul, wasn't it? Yeah, I just honestly,
it just proves that they're more hurt by people not talking about them than people talking about them.
It's so true. I've had a very good theory for a long time, which I'm sure that you probably agree with. I know many other people do as well. It's a simple fact that if everybody stopped talking about Meghan, like if the people that disliked her stopped talking about her, and she relied purely on her fan base to keep her in the news, she would disappear. She really would. So in a way, she needs all of the people that call her out and criticize her, and all of these millions of people around the world doing TikTok videos, taking the piss out of her. She needs that, because if she didn't have, I guess, what they call the haters, but people just taking the mickey out of her, she'd just disappear. She really would.
That is very true. You're absolutely right. Plus, how would she play victim?
Right? Yeah, of course. Of course. She's got to be able to do that. Yeah.
That's right. So in your opinion, what do you think about her claim of understanding struggles of founders comes across when she's had access to everything? My thought on this is, in this episode, they talk a lot about the pandemic, and she was whining about it while her friend was trying to run a business in it, but then she had a free house during the pandemic. I'd like to remind everybody. Tyler Perry's house.
Meghan doesn't have to pay for anything. She never has. She can start up as many business ventures that she wants. She didn't get the ticket to go to the Women in Business in the Hamptons because she's a fantastic businesswoman. She bought her way there. Like I'd imagine that some of the women that were there do, if you come from money and things like that. But she's never had to struggle for anything. She didn't have to struggle for her university fees like most people do, because her dad paid for it. She did struggle to get acting work, but then Suits, the most successful acting role that she had, she got that because her first or second husband, depending on what you believe, got her to the right people, and was probably like, please, just someone give my wife a job. And everything since. But for Meghan, they've done it a few times. Both she and Harry have complained about the pandemic and about how it affected them and how it reflected badly. And I think even in the same sentence, they were also saying, it's not their fault that they have had so much criticism because Prince Philip died. And it's like, you literally timed Oprah when he was in hospital on his final days on this earth. And with them, they've always got an excuse to blame somebody or something. And I've heard them blame the pandemic for a few things. And that's just insane to sit there when thousands of people were losing their lives, losing their jobs. It's still a very sore subject for many people. But Meghan has always got to be a victim. She's always got to find a way to be hard done by. It's madness. Madness.
Absolute madness. I'd like to know how many bedrooms that mansion they were in had. You know what I mean? Like, you tell
Swimming
me
pool,
more. Yeah.
cleaners, chefs, gardeners. I mean, she doesn't have to do anything for herself. Literally anything. It's,
Mhm.
yeah, rich people problems, eh, Jen? It's like,
That's
let me get my
right.
violin.
That's right. Oh, I feel so bad for you.
Well,
Jeez. And then so another thing that happened for those that didn't listen, and please don't listen to the podcast, but if you didn't
ugh,
listen, she referred to this lady, her name's Katie Lee. She referred to her as auntie for her
yeah.
children.
Mm,
So
yeah,
let's talk bad. Yeah, we've not the first time we've heard her call a non-family member auntie. Of course, we heard
yeah.
Serena Williams. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, she's got whenever she talks about any of her friends, it's like, oh, they're
Mhm.
aunties and uncles. Tyler Perry's the godfather. I think
Yes.
she even said it's like, oh, I've forgotten his name now already. The crime makeup artist.
Oh, who cares?
Daniel
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah,
Apparently,
no.
he's Uncle Daniel, and she's just got all of
Mhm.
these people that are superficial in the, well, I say superficial. I mean, they're maybe real friends of hers, but it looks like a lot of them. Katie Lee was her hairstylist. Daniel
Yeah,
Martin was her makeup artist.
exactly.
Marcus Anderson was. Who knows what Marcus Anderson was for her? And it's all of these people don't seem like lifelong friends that you would have. Tyler Perry, she didn't even really know Tyler Perry, and he was made godfather. That's
Uh-huh.
probably to do with the billions he has in the bank.
Yeah.
And it's a way to stick it to the royal
Mhm.
family. But the kids aren't going to know any different. And I
That's
just
exactly it.
it's a
Mhm.
way for her to get herself in the newspapers again. Everything that she does, she knows that they're going to report on it. So she does things that are going to be, she thinks, not a shock factor, but it's going to be
Mhm.
something that the newspapers are going to pick up. Oh, she's calling these complete strangers aunties and uncles to her children, but they don't let the real aunties and uncles see them in the UK. It's all about looping it back to the royal family and giving them the middle finger.
I
Yeah,
think
I
so
think.
too. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're so spot on. I couldn't agree more. And I think it just
Yeah.
what example is that setting for the kids? That's so bizarre.
You know what's going to happen when she falls out with her friends, because once she
Mhm.
does, whether they cut her off because they're tired of Meghan basically being a royal pain in the butt,
Yes.
using people, or she cuts
Mhm.
people out of her life, which we've seen before. She was best friends with Jessica Mulroney. She got dropped like a hot potato. Meghan will
Mhm.
drop people, and she goes through staff as well. And you just think the constant circle of changing people that the children probably have in their lives.
Yes.
Let's just hope some of these aunties and uncles are allowed to stay in the kids' lives long enough for them to build healthy relationships. But the way Meghan goes through people, maybe not.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Let's hope Harry stays in their life long enough. Same thing. Couldn't
Oh, she'll be
agree more.
hanging on to Tyler Perry for dear life with all those
That
billions, private jets, and his own private island.
that's absolutely true. You're right. What was your take on Megan's tendency? We kind of talked about this, but to redirect her guest story back to herself. Now, I will say this one wasn't as bad as the others for that, but she did still do it. I found.
She The first one that caught my attention, I was driving at the time. I do not recommend listening to Meghan on a podcast when you're driving the car, because you just want to put your head in your hands. You got to remember that you're driving. But it was the bit where Katie Lee was talking about one of the jobs she had, and she was in a mall.
Uh-huh.
And Meghan, it's another one of Meghan. She had a job in this shop that Katie Lee mentions. And you think to yourself, your dad paid for everything, and every time you hear Meghan, no matter where she is, she's talking about all of these multiple jobs that she had to work, didn't she, when she was like 13 or 14
Yeah.
to put food on the table. She's worked in donut shops, she's worked in ice cream shops, she's been a nanny for two Irish Catholic families, never heard of before, but that came out on Drew Barrymore. Then apparently she worked at the same shop that Katie Lee mentioned, and she's just always she's that annoying person at the party that you avoid, that person, like if you say, oh, my husband bought a new car the other day. Oh yeah, my husband bought a new car the other day. Oh, I got bit by a shark. Oh yeah, me too. Just straight away she's got to find a
You're
way
right.
that she's been through it, she's experienced, she's got something
Mhm.
there to say, yeah, me too. It's again, it's just really odd to listen to, because we've heard it all before. She hasn't changed, she hasn't learned anything from archetypes. It's the same rinse and repeat with her.
You're so right. And it does not make a good host or a good guest. So I don't understand who it's for.
That's the whole thing that's perplexed me about this. Who
Mhm.
is her audience? Who is this meant for? This is just Meghan finding another way to talk about Meghan. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely. I completely agree. What did you think about Megan's casual name dropping of celebrities such as Julia Roberts and Kristen Davis?
It was obvious that that was going to happen.
Mhm.
But, that's kudos to Katie Lee. She has got,
Mhm.
quite an extensive client list, but it's just another way for Meghan to name drop, really, to get,
It is. To have
yeah,
her name in the same sentence, I believe,
that's
with Julia Roberts.
That's
Yeah.
it, isn't it? So when, they talk about it, and it's not so much as dropping Katie Lee's name, it's the fact that she is Julia Roberts' stylist,
Mhm.
and it's just another way for Meghan with her name in print alongside all of these other A-listers, but yeah, real A-listers rather.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I think so too. I just don't think it adds any value to the conversation. I didn't feel it was for
No, I
Megan's
mean,
benefit, not for Katie's resume, I felt like.
yeah, because I mean, lots of, she is a popular hairstylist. She's built up her own business. She has actually, built a successful business up from the ground. And you
Mhm.
don't tend to talk about your clients. You don't tend to do that. That's the
Mhm.
whole thing. The reason why the celebrities like using you is because you don't actually name drop. And Meghan was name dropping on behalf of her. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so too. I felt really weird about that for sure.
Mm.
Let's see. There was a lot of talk about race, so we'll
Oh
just
yeah.
put that out there. I felt like Megan again was directing that conversation. Katie would say some things, and then Megan was like, "It is difficult," and you're just like, "Stop it."
Yeah, it is. It's racism is one of the worst things to talk about being a YouTuber and being white,
Mhm.
because you're
Yeah.
always going to have some people that accuse you of being racist because you're white. It's just the way it
Right.
is. It's just the way it works. And it
Right.
used to affect me in the beginning, but it doesn't now.
Sure.
But it's the way Meghan has got to push this narrative. And there was a bit in the beginning of the podcast that near enough had me switch off.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was when this wasn't so much as Meghan, this was Katie Lee, and she was talking about in the pandemic and they shut the shop. Meghan won't call it a shop, she calls it bricks and mortar. Did you notice that all the way
I
through the podcast?
did.
Bricks and mortar, bricks and mortar.
That was so
Yes.
bizarre to me. What I don't know what that is. Wouldn't you be offended if it was your shop?
Yeah, just it's a business. Just call it something. But yeah, bricks and mortar. When you just went from this to yeah. Again, it was just one of those weird little things. You
It
just
was
think, why is
almost
she
like
doing
she
that?
was belittling it because she's not in that kind of business.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
is that. But again, not being a business founder. But
yeah.
it was when Katie Lee said, it made me cringe when she said that when the pandemic started lifting, the restrictions were lifting, she said, because of what happened with the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matters stuff, that
Mhm.
people were ringing the salon in tears, crying because they felt guilt, and they felt, obviously talking about white guilt, and
Yeah.
then feeling guilty about wanting to come in and have her take care of them when they have learned so much and they should be taking care of her. And I just thought, I'm so over this narrative now. It obviously makes sense for Meghan to be peddling that because she's used race quite a lot to her advantage. But yeah,
Right.
they got off the subject fairly quickly, but it's just, you can see Meghan surrounding herself with people like that for those
Yeah,
reasons. It's a good way to push that. But it's a
that is
tricky subject, isn't it? You must find that
it is.
yourself. But
I 1,000% do, but I think it's important to point out that I feel like 100% Megan's using it. And let's say
yeah,
that
she is.
Katie Lee has, whatever you believe about Katie Lee, let's say that you really want to hear Katie Lee's story. Megan won't let her tell it. So you're not going to learn anything in either
She
way. So
interrupts her all the time,
Mhm.
didn't she? Like I just did you.
Oh, no, 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 no. No,
So
you have great things to say. Interrupt. Go.
yeah, she does. She does interrupt her, and every time I said it in my video, so I apologize anyone if you've heard me repeat this, but Meghan reminds me of a politician. When they talk at the person, like that they'll spend ages answering a question that nobody asked. Nobody asked the question, and Meghan's talking at Katie Lee, but she's not kind of asking her a question. She's giving her a statement. It's like Meghan has got in her head what she wants to say, regardless of whether that's the direction the conversation's gone in. So you don't have a natural flow of two people conversing. It's like Meghan occasionally does a big information dump.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't match up with what's going on at the time. And it does seem, like you said, she's definitely trying to steer the narrative into whatever direction that she wants. And it just made the podcast really puzzling, because 1 minute they're laughing like a pair of teenage girls, and then next minute Meghan's done this big dump of like word salad seriousness. And it's just constantly your head. I felt exhausted. I felt exhausted.
There were times I'd have to back it up and listen again because I'd drift off and be like, I don't even know what they're talking about.
I can't keep up with this. What is happening? Where has this come from? Yeah, there's no natural flow to it whatsoever.
Meghan went into Katie's ethos and all about community. I'm like, what's yours then, Meghan?
Community had to come up, and showing up, which as soon as she started, there's buzzwords now, Jen, when she started saying about, and it's just the fact that, you being a colorist, just showing up for people. It's that sense of community. And I can say, like, when I go get my hair done, yeah, it's lovely. Loads of women and men go to hair salons because you've got that nice little chit chat, but Meghan's making it out like it's some big, huge emotional thing. And it's just that over the top fakeness. And it's like, I'm sure that Katie Lee is a fantastic colorist, but she's not Mother Teresa. She's not saving lives. And the way Meghan, they talk about each other as well, because of course, if you are a guest on Meghan's show, you have to give a large amount of praise. And you just get to this point where you're like, how much smoke can they blow up each other's asses? You're not out there saving lives. You're not a nurse working sort of like 20-hour shifts. And it's just, maybe it's a California thing. I don't know.
I don't know, but yes, it's the same thing we saw on the Netflix show. She can only have guests that kiss her A. So she, absolutely ridiculous. How about, let's see, I had another thought that's flying on my, Meghan's rewriting of history with,
I know.
with everything, but with securing the name American Riviera Orchard and making herself a victim there too. People were sniffing around to see what she was up to. No, they weren't. You're doing pap walks and advertising your own crap. What are we talking about?
You were the one stuffing American Riviera Orchard down everybody's throats before she'd even like trademarked it. She was so desperate to get that video out so it clashed with Prince William's Diana Awards speech that it looked like that Harry had probably filmed the night before on her iPhone, and she wasn't ready to launch anything. She wasn't ready to do the products. And when the jam started going out to celebrities and stuff, that was her saying, this is what I'm going to be doing. But she hadn't done any of the groundwork. She hadn't even, she probably used the home printer. It looks like the same home printer that she got her As Ever labels printed on that were all peeling off the jars again.
Oh, goodness.
She's done no groundwork. She hadn't even researched the name, because she would have been turned down for it anyway, because the logo, they didn't like the logo. They didn't like the fact that it was an area that you can't have a geographical location. The fact that it looked like a copy of the royal insignia on Buckingham Palace gates. I mean, as I said, it's just further proof that everything that she does is just a total disaster.
It's very much teenage-like. I'm going to do this with no thought and no follow through. Yeah.
That's exactly how she approaches everything. Everything that we've seen, Meghan does remind me. And I think, again, I've said this before, I think this is where she and Harry are quite well suited. They both still seem to be stuck at that same aged mentality. I think they're both a pair of high schoolers. In fact, there's probably high schoolers out there that behave a whole lot more mature than what those two do.
That's true. Absolutely. You're right. Oh, goodness. But she wrote a whole new narrative, in case you guys didn't hear about it, for the American Riviera Orchard, and why it's not working, that she always meant for it to be an umbrella brand.
Yeah, that was it. She always meant for it to be an umbrella branch, because then she said something weird afterwards, like she always wanted verticals coming from it. And I was like, what? What coming from? What are you talking about? What are you saying now? And she just She's just making it up as she goes. It was the same as when she did the video, wasn't it? Cats out of the bag, guys. And it's like, you haven't always wanted to do as ever. This is just another thing that you've quickly gone, bang, throw it at the wall and hope something sticks.
That's
And
right.
well, about the
Well,
only
like
thing that does stick is her raspberry spread.
like, Sussex Royal, it's just like, that never took
Yeah,
off, but they had a bunch of crap printed. It's just, okay, cool, waste a bunch of money and spin your wheels.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Uh,
Everything, 40 by
uh,
40. She apparently, well, she did. That briefly went out, didn't it? And people had T-shirts printed, and
yeah.
she's probably got a big garage full of stuff. Loads of copies of The Bench that didn't sell, all of the other ventures that she's printed. She's just got one of these shows will come out. What's the one? Yeah, I know you've got it in the States as well, where
Hoarders.
people
Yeah.
buy the containers. They buy the containers, don't they?
Oh,
And some person's going to get in a bidding war because they'll see a royal insignia on the side and it'll be Meghan's, and they'll think that they're going to find jewels and amazing stuff, and they're going to open it up to loads of dumped as ever stuff, American Riviera Orchard. It's gonna, yeah.
purchases of spare, like their own
Oh,
copies of spare.
nobody needs that. Not even as like
No.
a footstool or something to prop a table up.
Lots of
Yeah.
his mom's hand cream. Oh, gross, or face cream,
Ah.
whatever. Yeah,
Do you
gross.
think actually, Jen, do you think he is going to do Spare 2.0? What do you think?
I just talked about this in a video. I think it's just a threat he likes to use over people like this. If this court
Yeah.
case doesn't go well, I'm going to threaten that I have much more material. I don't think, even if he
He
has
would have put it in
anything
the book.
else. No, I don't. Do you?
I think he would. I think he would. I think if he doesn't get his way, I do
Mhm.
think his family have cut him off now. I don't think that the
Yeah.
king's interested in seeing him, and I
Mhm.
don't feel sorry for him at all. But yeah, I think he would. But the thing is, it's not believable. Only I don't understand how anybody believes these two anymore because they've been caught out on so many lies. But I think he would. They're going to be desperate for money.
Yeah.
Yes, they've already earned millions. I mean, if you and
Uh,
I even got a fraction of the money that
oh,
they had, Jen, we'd take early retirement, you know? But
we'd
they
be
live
drinking
a life.
margaritas on a beach. Yeah.
Exactly. They live a lifestyle where they want to live like billionaires and they just don't have the talent. They don't have the skills. They don't have the patience, the tenacity. The word.
That's
I
okay.
can't even talk today. You have to bear with me. I don't know if you noticed, but I am full of hay fever today. I actually want to
Oh.
claw my face off right now. Everything's itching. We're totally full of pollen in the UK at the minute. It's
Oh.
like one of the highest counts. So if I'm sitting here and I'm just
Oh.
trying to itch my face off, but
I
yeah.
just assume it's talking about Meghan makes you wanna, like, claw at
Oh,
things.
probably that as well. Probably.
You look gorgeous. It's not fair that you
Oh,
have hay fever and look like that. You look beautiful.
makeup and a very good ring light, Jen. It's all about the lighting.
Oh, I know. I'm glowing for a reason.
But yeah, I mean, they just don't have the capability to make anything work. I think that they're just so used to, Harry just has servants his whole life, and Meghan just throws money at people and expects them to do it for them, and it just doesn't work that way. If you're going to be a successful business owner, you have to commit, and those two
Right.
can't commit to anything apart from trashing the royal family. So I think the money will get to a point where Harry's like, right, what else can I sell? I think he sold anything that he thought that he had, but people will still buy another book of bullshit. They will.
Probably.
People
Yeah.
will because they want the drama, they want the gossip. But I think deep down, the majority of people know that he and Meghan lie a
Yeah.
lot.
I think so too. I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't at this point after especially after the Oprah of it all, but yeah, in that
Oh,
book.
the people still lapped it up, didn't they? They lapped up
Yeah.
Netflix, they
Yeah.
lapped it up, and then you have
Mhm.
months of the mainstream newspapers, they're all talking about it. And it's like, but you know that they're lying. You know this because, you've seen the original interviews or the original stories, but
Right.
the prince and princess yeah, they sit
Bullshit.
on a
Yeah.
throne of lies. Yeah, they are. They are.
You're
But
right.
yeah.
Absolutely. So then she goes into task-oriented versus goal-oriented. I can't even make sense of that. She was just
Oh, yeah, I didn't get that.
I
I
didn't
didn't I
either.
I didn't understand it. If you're not task orientated, you're goal orientated.
Wouldn't it
Uh,
be both? Are they not
yeah,
interchangeable basically in some senses? I can't I don't
yeah.
know. I think she's just
Yeah,
trying to
that one
sound
baffled
smart.
me.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just one of
Mhm.
those ones where you sit there with your mouth open catching flies, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Is it me? Am I tired? Do I need another cup of coffee? Would this make sense to other people?" You know? And
Not at
then you
all.
think, "No, no, not really." What is she on
No,
about?
not at all. I just think yeah, there's no practical advice in there. Nothing is useful. There's just nothing. Yeah,
No, not that I was expecting anything from Meghan, but
no.
again, she doesn't ask the right questions of her guests where they could
Mhm.
perhaps give practical information, because as soon as they start talking about something Meghan doesn't want to talk about, she switches it. The old switcheroo, back
That's
to
right.
Mimi.
Back to me. That's right. Too much you, back to me.
Yeah.
Um, and I will say of the 3 episodes, this has been the best for her in terms of actually asking questions. The other one, she didn't even really ask. This one, she'd say, "And how was that experience for you?"
Yeah,
You know?
maybe she's having some coaching. I don't know, but it's not like Meghan to listen to everybody else. It could also be because I think it was Meghan Kelly that worked out that Meghan had to have voiceovers added to Netflix for the guests because Meghan spent the majority of the time talking about herself. So then they got Meghan to then ask questions and try and film it so it looked like that Meghan actually cared about the guests. And there
Yeah.
was something I can't remember exactly, but when archetypes, there were certain things that they had to get Meghan. Well, I guess they got other people to interview some of the people,
Mhm.
and then they got Meghan to record like voice bits because I don't know, she just can't help herself. She just cannot help herself. She has to talk about herself. It's her favorite subject. So I don't think it comes naturally. But again, I think you can hear that in this particular podcast. It doesn't seem a natural flow of conversation. It's like she's got a pad and a pen there and someone's going, "Meghan, Meghan,
Yeah.
ask her this. Ask
That's
her this." You know, act like
you're
you care.
uh-huh. I don't think she's capable of active listening to add on thoughtfully to anybody's conversation, so it won't work.
But there would be a reason why she was more willing to allow Katie Lee to talk in this episode, and that's because Meghan's actually invested in Highbrow Hippie. She's actually
Exactly
invested.
that.
She's invested in the brand, so of course Meghan will see this as an extension of a bit of a product investment for herself.
You're
So
exactly right. So in case you
yeah,
guys don't know, Megan is an investor here, and here she is at an
mm,
event not long ago, acting
yeah.
crazy as usual. So
Center
yes, you're
stage,
exactly right.
center
Yeah.
stage. Is Katie Lee's launch, and Meghan's like, "I'm in the middle. Get out my way."
I will not be cut out of these photos if I kiss on you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to leech myself to your face and then I can't be cut out. But I was funny enough looking at the pictures again last night, and it was when they were in wherever they were holding like this big dinner party in
Mhm,
celebration of the launch.
mhm.
And Serge, who is the hairstylist that did Meghan's wedding hair, which I mean, he's very successful. So I don't quite know what happened when he did Meghan's wedding hair because I think it looked terrible. And she
It looks
charged
terrible.
thousands.
Yeah.
Charged thousands back to the royal family for it. So I don't know if
Mhm,
they just laughed all the way to the bank and Meghan did her hair herself. But yeah, she's with him. So
mhm.
making sure that by latching onto whoever knight that it is, it means, like you said, she can't be cut out of the photographs. It's all
That's
about
right.
Meghan making herself the center of attention. That's why whenever she's directing pictures, she moves people out the way. She's got to be in the middle. Even when she recently went to see Gypsy with
Mhm. Oh,
Tracy and
that
Brian
lady.
Robbins,
Yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
she's got herself in the middle. You know, she was like their plus one, and Meghan's making sure she's bang in the middle, right next to the main star of the show. And it's just a
Absolutely.
way for she just can't help herself. She's hilarious, really. She's so predictable at this point.
She is. As we wrap this up, what are your predictions? I guess we're coming up on the Time 100 thing starting today, I think is a speech, and then tomorrow's the
Yeah.
gala. What are your predictions for this?
What
Beige?
can you predict? Meghan's going to be in an overpriced designer dress that probably doesn't fit her, and she's going to have to be pulled off the carpet by one of those old-fashioned crooks, because she'll be marching up and down, trying to get her picture taken with as many people as possible. But I do wonder who's going to do the avoidance. That'll be one to watch, because everybody knows that Meghan's toxic, and you've got a lot of genuine A-list stars that they're not appearing on her show. It came out, I think, yesterday that Meghan cannot, much like Netflix and like Archetype, she can't get a lot of big names because nobody wants to taint themselves, do they? Meghan has got the reverse Midas touch. Exactly. And I think the same thing with Time 100. It would be interesting to see who she gets to pose with and who get their people to intervene. And
that's right. Oh, goodness. Yeah. And she's going to give a speech. Oh, it's just, yeah.
Oh, no, Jen. No, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for another Meghan speech.
Shall we make it a drinking game?
Oh,
we'll be blackout in 3 seconds.
I might deliberately go outside and inhale some pollen so I go deaf or something. I'll just have to watch it. I'll have to read the transcript afterwards because it's too much.
Can't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Taz. Any final thoughts on this episode as we wrap this up? Anything? I mean, again, who's this for? Did you learn anything from it? I didn't. Did you?
No, I didn't. No, I mean, I was genuinely wondering if there were any bits that you could think you could take away from it. You know, Katie Lee was genuinely like interested if she'd have been allowed to talk more.
I think so too. Yeah.
You know, and she has worked her way up and she's got a successful brand, but it kind of ruins it when those two started fangirling over each other. But it was just completely predictable. It was Meghan making it just about Meghan. It's just another Mimi show, isn't it? That's all that she's capable of doing. The most that she's ever committed to, and the thing that she can talk about the most, where she's relaxed and she's happy, is just about herself.
Yeah.
So
you're spot
what else can you say on that one, Jen? But I'm sure we will catch up very soon to find out any more. I may consider listening to another podcast. I may. It depends who the guest is. Do we know anything about any future guests?
So I think the next one, I believe, because it sounded like she was alluding it to makeup products, and I know she's friendly because she was standing up for lately. The one that does do you pronounce it IT Cosmetics or IT Cosmetics, however you say that? You would recognize her. She was in the Hamptons too. I just can't remember the lady's name, but she was recently going
Bobby
on
Brown.
No,
not Bobby Brown.
No, it's I just can't think of her name. IT Cosmetics. She's just one that stands up for Meghan sometimes, and I believe that may be who's on the next one.
Kern Lima, is it?
I can't remember.
I can't remember, but I don't think it's going to be anything that interests me, in all honesty.
No, probably not. And even if it was somebody that interests you, she won't be allowed to talk, so it won't.
No. So true. It's so true. But Jen, thank you so much for having me on again. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we finally got the timing right. We know now it's 5 hours.
Apologies. I know. I love it. I know. I'm so drunk again.
I should have honestly thought when you said 3 hours, I should have gone, oh, that can't be right. But I didn't. So we're just on each other. It must be something to do with the bleach.
I know. It's seeping in. I talked to the twins. They're 3 hours behind me. So I was thinking you're 3 hours before me. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We blame the Sidley twins. It's their fault.
All their fault. Clearly. That's right. It's because you're anti-woman, Taz.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm anti-everything.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. As always, we will go watch your latest video. We'll make sure we're subscribed. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. I'll catch up with you soon. You take care. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right. What did you think? I just thought I'd hit a few more things. I have my notes here, and I didn't want to go spot by spot with this on this episode. I just wanted it to be a conversation. Unlike Meghan's, I want it to be a conversation between two women and hear her thoughts on things, whereas Meghan is not interested in her guest thoughts on anything. But yeah, this episode was pretty horrible of the podcast. I would say episode 2 is the worst so far. Meghan stepped up her game a little bit on this one, did ask a few more questions. So I'll give her, if she does something right, I'll say it. Most of it she did not do right, but she was a little better in this episode. That's not saying much. The bar is pretty low. What else? This one did have a lot to do with race. It was especially at the beginning. very much, I felt like it was something that Meghan, yeah, you can imagine. Meghan was lapping that up pretty good. Let's see here. I'm just looking at my notes. They go into, it was so weird. So again, Meghan's positioning herself as a businesswoman. Can't think of a business question to ask. It was more of, how did that make you feel? Fine. I'm somebody that asks questions like that because I do like to know how people are feeling about things. But also, if you have, excuse me, like a business podcast, you think you'd ask a little bit more business questions, but not Meghan. Much more interest. She was much more interested in a race and feminism chat. Meghan kept turning it about herself. One thing that Taz and I didn't talk about that Meghan went into is some of the troubles with her hair and needing a special kind of flat iron and not having the right tools at her. Everything's a victim with her. She didn't have the right tools at her disposal. Another weird thing with Meghan is she talks about the sorority she was in, and she ties it back to the hair tools. That's why it's coming up, and how the girls just didn't understand, and basically implying because they were not of her race, they didn't understand. But I would like to point out, as a friend of mine pointed out behind the scenes, she chose that sorority. There were African American sororities on the campus at the time. She did not choose one of those. She'd rather go to this one and then complain about how they didn't handle it right. I just find that very odd. And again, it's just a choice she has made to present herself a certain way, and then she wants to go back, rewrite history, and bitch about it. So that was something that I noticed. Again, I think the rewriting of history on American Riviera Orchard was astounding because that's not how it happened. She's talking about it was meant to be an umbrella and she wanted all these verticals off of it and stuff. And you're just like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not typically how people start businesses and how they want to do them, where you have all these. Yeah. Okay. I'm stating the obvious. She goes into that task-oriented versus goal-oriented. And then the other weird thing that I didn't go into is she goes very hard into selling her business. So Katie's talked about this business she's built and worked on and dreamt about, and these products that she's launched as a result of, all this stuff. And then going into selling her business, Meghan seems to want to, the way I understood is Meghan wants to skip all those steps. She just wants to create a business and then sell it, because she even uses the example. Remember Vicky from the Netflix show? She was one of the guests I didn't mind as much. I found Meghan insufferable, but Vicky I didn't mind so much on the Netflix show. She was the lady that made the pot stickers. She, I guess, had given Meghan some advice. And according to Meghan, it was, when you start your business, you think about who you're going to sell it to. I find that such a weird approach. And I'm wondering if that's actually what Vicky said or not, or if it's just Meghan making crap up to fit her narrative. I just find that so weird. I can't imagine starting a business in hopes to sell it. I think you start a business in hope to either help people or be profitable or both, something like that, or whatever it is, or sell a lot of whatever product you're trying to move, or maybe bring awareness to something. I can't imagine starting a business, going through all that in the hopes immediately that you're going to sell it. Sure, down the road, I get it. You put all that, into it, and you want to make a profit, whatever. I can't make sense out of the way Meghan, I just can't. It's just more proof that Meghan has no idea, in my opinion, about any of this stuff, and she should not be talking on a businesswoman's podcast. Which reminds me, they get into like a, are you single kind of conversation. And listen, again, I like to have all kinds of conversations. You've been on my lives. I talk crazy stuff. I'm here for it. But if you're presenting yourself as a businesswoman podcast, is that where you're going to ask that? You know what I mean? If you're trying to be taken seriously as a businesswoman, are you going to be like, girl, how was the date? Probably not. I find that very weird. Anyway, the podcast wraps up with, of course, I talked about the name dropping. They name dropped Julia Roberts, always Meghan with Julia Roberts. And they name dropped Kristen Davis, who plays Charlotte on Sex and the City. And then Meghan can only have people on that kiss her A. So this Lady Katie, had to kiss her A at the end and said, nobody entertains like Meghan. What? We just saw a show where she has no idea about cooking, gardening, or entertaining. And it's a show about cooking, gardening, and entertaining. It was crazy. Entertaining like Meghan, what, moving things from one bag to another? Sending your guests off to their room? What, is that entertaining? What are we talking about here? Nobody entertains like Meghan. Okay. I don't think it's her acting she's talking about. So what are we talking about? Anyway, so that's it. That's it for the episode. It's dreadful. But, here I am still covering it. Thank you guys so much for being here. A thank you to Taz for your time and your loveliness. And I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. You guys are the best. Let me know your thoughts on all of it. Let me know your thoughts on Taz. Make sure you subscribe to Taz. Make sure you subscribe to me. I'm really pushing to the 200,000 mark. I'm really trying. Let me know your thoughts on all this. And thank you guys so much. Have the best day. Oh, yeah. Hello. I have straight hair today. I did something different. Somebody had said that they thought it would look nice straight. I'm trying it straight. Let me know your thoughts. I think I still preferred curled, but that's cool. It's something different. Let me know. Oh, yeah. And leather. Let me know. What do you think of the leather? Again, something different. Guys, thank you. I've got off the rails again. I always do this at the end. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being so wonderful. I've been up since 4:00 in the morning. I was so scared to mess up the time with Taz again. I have been up since 4:00 in the morning. So that's why I sound tired. Yeah. Anyway, and I'm a little off the rails. Oh, yeah, I've been doing this at the end of the show. How about that? The leather shirt with the crown. Ooh, the crown off center. What do you think? Huh? What do we think? Oh, guys, again, I'm unhinged. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so wonderful to me. You mean the whole wide world to me. Let me know your thoughts on all this. I love reading your comments. Can I just say, I cannot reply to all of them, but I try to reply to a lot, and I've been trying to do better at that, and I've just enjoyed reading them so much. So do leave me your comments. And each day I've been asking a secret question at the end to see who's paying attention, and so many of you guys are. So thank you for that. Let's see. Yesterday we did dessert. The day before we wrote Bert of Bert and Ernie. What should we do? Ooh, I know. I wore leather here and I wore leather here. So tell me something dominatrixy. You can write yes, mistress. How about that in the comments? Are you in? Let me know. Something like that. I don't know. Whips, chains, whatever you want to write. How about yes, mistress? Oh, God. Thank you guys so much for being here. I made myself blush a little bit. Thank you for being so wonderful to me. Thank you for everything. I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. My chair's squeaking. Yes, mistress. Oh, goodness.